Hello, I'm Bryan Hutcheson, Sheriff of Rockingham County in the city of Harrisonburg, and thank you for joining me for this week's segment of the Rocktown Crime Report on rocktownnow.com. Today's Friday, February the 7th. I think we got a great segment for you. We'll get started right with it. If you watched the last segment we did, we talked a little bit about our year-end numbers for our civil unit from 2024. And so this time around, we wanted to kind of touch on some summary, some numbers, overview from our court security and transportation unit, also from 2024, just to get a little sampling of some of the things that they did throughout last year. So you can see here for that unit, the total number of court sessions, and that's general district, juvenile domestic relations, and circuit court. They provided security at the door and in the courtroom for a total number of 1,380 sessions of those courts. So a lot going on there. And then just a sampling of some of the other activities you see here, kind of getting a little taste of other things. They conducted 3,097 in-state inmate transports. And in doing so, they logged 157,248 miles that were driven during those transports. They also conducted 46 out-of-state transports, and in doing that, they went to 16 different states, as far north as New York, as far south as Florida, and as far west as Texas, doing transports back to here. And then also with the video court, and many of you probably remember the telephone booths that you used to see around. Well, we have 3 of those that are video court booths here in the jail, and we're able to link into pretty much any court, and they can have a video court appearance. The inmate, that is, can have a video court appearance for any type of hearing, and it streamlines the whole process a lot, as you can imagine. We conducted 3,124 of those in 2024. And then last little piece here is with the inmate work crew. We have 2 inmate work crews that we run. Usually it's 4 on each crew. And they logged 8,259 work crew hours throughout 2024. And that's on different projects in the city and in the county alike, at the landfill, at the city parks, you name it, any government property that we'll send them out to. They logged a lot of hours. That's a lot of work that got done throughout last year. And again, to touch on that, we don't, that's a volunteer thing. We don't assign them to that. If they want to be on it, they can. If they don't, they don't. It's not anything other than, it's an opportunity if they want to partake in it. And we've been fortunate to have good crews that we're able to get out and get a lot of work done right here to benefit our community. So just a little taste of that. The getting back to our question, we ended up, the question of the week that we kind of started off this year with was one we kind of broke down into segments. It was, what's the difference between a police department and a sheriff's office? And we broke that into some segments. We started off kind of with the operational side of it. A lot of the police departments pretty much all have the patrol and investigations, and then all of the sheriff's offices are tasked with the civil process, the court security unit, and court security and transportation unit, like we just talked about for us, as well as the jail. And so really for us, RCSO, we have all 5 of those. We're a full service sheriff's office, and we provide all 5 of those services right here in Harrisonburg, Rockingham. And so that's one of the parts of it. The other part of that question we talked about is the administration side of it. Pretty much one of the key points there is that most police departments have a police chief who is appointed by an elected board, like a council or a board of some form that appoints them to that role. So it's indirectly political, whereas with the sheriff's office, the sheriff is directly political. The sheriff is elected by the citizens directly. So a little bit of a difference. Is it indirect or is it direct as far as the administration of those agencies? And then lastly, we wanted to kind of wrap it up with what I call the combined effect. And what that is here locally, we have, it's a combined Harrisonburg and Rockingham sheriff's office, and the whole court system is that. So the courts, the clerks, all of that, it's one setup. And I think, other places, every city and county has a sheriff's office, but a lot of them are not combined. What is the benefits of it being combined? Well, there's really 2 that I see. First and foremost is the financial side of it. It's pretty obvious that it's cheaper to run one office versus 2. The operating costs, the overhead that goes along with it. If you have it centralized from a financial standpoint, you're saving money. So not just with the sheriff's office, but you have one Commonwealth Attorney's office, one clerk's office. Everything's condensed for the city and the county into one. And that kind of leads to my second point, which is the convenience factor. for the citizens, really for law enforcement, but also for the citizens. It's a lot easier because if you need to talk to the Commonwealth Attorney, you don't have to worry about which one. If you have to go by the clerk's office for any number of things, any of the courts, you need to talk to a clerk. Well, everything's right here on Court Square. It's one-stop shop, and you don't have to try to figure out, is it a city thing or a county thing, or where's the boundaries at. It's all combined. I think it's a lot more streamlined. And really, again, it's convenient one-stop shop, and everything's right here on Court Square for whatever you need. So I think that really the combined effect is a good thing, and those two reasons really being the key there for it. So great question. Appreciate that question coming in. Again, we kind of broke it down into segments and hopefully covered some interesting parts of it, or some things maybe that you either didn't know or you maybe hadn't really thought a whole lot about before. But great question, and I want to remind you too, if you have questions at all, we'll put on here the screen for you for Rocktown Now. Don't hesitate to, if you don't have that app, get the app, and then also don't hesitate to send a question in, any kind of questions. We love them, to the news@rocktownnow.com, and we'll try to get you in on a future segment. Again, any kind of questions, we enjoy talking about them. So another quick plug I wanted to throw in also is a reminder too for our local crime solvers. It's Harrisonburg Rockingham Crime Solvers. It's also combined, all together, lumped in one, and it'll cover anything in between. If you have something suspicious activity, or about something that might be illegal, or whatever it might be, don't hesitate to call that number, 540-574-5050. You can call that anytime, 24/7, and the information you provide can be strictly anonymous, and also you could be eligible for a cash reward, and that is even if it's not an advertised reward. If the information is such that it's benefit to law enforcement and helps solve whatever problem in our community it might be, you could get a cash reward just for providing that. Whether that is what you're seeking or not is really not the point. But just wanted to remind you not to hesitate to call that number, anything at all that you might see. We'd rather have you call and just in case than to not call, and maybe you needed to. You had information that could help us. So quick plug for that. And then we'll wind out. We got, want to wish everybody a safe weekend. We've got Super Bowl weekend coming up on Sunday. And, myself as a Washington fan, I'm still maybe a little bit upset with the Eagles still for knocking my team out. But even putting that aside, my prediction would be Kansas City. I'll say 30-24 would be my prediction as an outcome for that game. I think probably going to be a close game. If it comes down under 2 minutes and Mahomes has the ball in his hand, I think the ball game's over. So I think KC wins a close one is my guess. But regardless of whoever you're rooting for, or if you're just watching it for the commercials and the general entertainment, either way, it's a great time of year. And just remember, be safe. That's what we really ultimately want to see, is everybody have fun and be safe in doing so. Don't get out there and drive impaired. Get a cab or a Uber, whatever it is you need to have you fun and be safe in doing so. That's really what we definitely want to see happen. So we wish everybody a great, happy Super Bowl weekend. And we're going to continue doing these segments every other Friday. So we'll be back with you on Friday, February the 21st. We'll have maybe some jail numbers or some interesting, whether it's data or whatever it might be. And also, don't forget, if you have a question, get that into you. We'll try to cover some stuff. We'll see you here in a couple weeks. And thank you for tuning into this segment. We'll see you next time.